On the way they encountered several more foxes, and MC, having dealt with them, gained experience again. He gave Sunhwa the old iron gloves that he got during the hunt. The preparations are complete. It remains to follow the plan. He invited her to go inside and she agreed, and as soon as they approached the entrance, the system reported that this is a training dungeon. The required level to enter is 5th. The system asked if they really wanted to enter the tower, and when Hupchin agreed they were transferred inside, where goblins and foxes lived. Seeing them, the goblins immediately jumped up from their seats and took weapons, and MC looked at the girl and asked did she remember what to do. She confidently confirmed this, and hesed that as they planned, they start with the goblins. He disbanded the group with her, and she ran towards the goblinsty, made nasty screams attacking her, and she immediately struck with her fist. Unlike a Heil dungeon, where every monster is aggressive, in the tower there are only aggressive goblins and neutral city foxes. If you only attack the goblins, the foxes won't attack first. After watching Sunhwa deal with the goblins, he thought, is she some kind of genius? She's doing even better than he thought. Goblin attacks do not harm her. She exceeded all his expectations. Shu was very tired and stopped to catch her breath, and Hipchin told her to rest for a while, and he stepped aside with the thought that a mini-boss would appear soon. He comes when all the goblins and foxes are killed on the first floor. After that, he put the backpack on Thefler near the ATM and said that since she rested, she should finish off the rest and run here. When she is done, she agreed and went to the fox and then hit the monster on the head. Watching her, MC noticed that there was still a little lift, and suddenly time stopped. The system activated the pause effect. An unknown observer shows deep curiosity towards him, and the brave Lion King is interested again. The anonymous guards begin to scream. Sina appeared behind Hainan, called out to him, and he nervously thought, why did the pause appear? It temporarily stops all actions in a specific area. This is an item effect that the administrator can use. He heard that it was expensive, and she used it on him. Sina asked if he was crazy. He didn't understand what she was talking about, and she pointed out that he acted like and knew what was coming. Was this part of his plans too, he asked. What was wrong with that? She wondered why he was acting so unreasonably. The mini-boss he was trying to summon was a level goblin soldier. Since it was a mini-boss, its stats were boosted. It wasn't an opponent. He could beat at his level, and not with just one person. Why start a battle? Heckled and win. He pointed out that it sounded like she didn't want him to die, but she pretended not to understand. Weath was talking about. He immediately realized that she was trying to lie now. He was sure that he had become someone Yuho, attracted a lot of attention. Sina said that he is a player who seems to know the future, but in fact, he has become a rare figure who can put on a show and attract the attention of more guardians. She benefits from his survival, especially since she will not be heard from in the future, which means that she is such a bad administrator that she'll be destroyed before she can gain any fame. He smirked and said that she could not even come up with an excuse. She does not know how to communicate at all. She was slightly surprised and asked, is this an insult? He told her that Hua is just telling the truth. She does not know how to take advantage of the situation. If she wants to entertain the guardians better, then let her say after a pause that he cannot defeat the goblin soldier, and he will survive and bring victory. She looked at him doubtfully and asked, does he want to go against the goblin soldier together? He smiled and told her to think about it herself. The 8th level defeats the TH. The guardians will go crazy if they see something like this. She will immediately become a competent mid-level administrator in exchange, since he will help her little show. He offers a deal. She got angry and started threatening him with her power, saying that his arrogance has gone too far. Her patience is not unlimited, to which he replied that she would have killed him long ago if she wanted. Wouldn't she lose too much now that she used the pause, and a deal with him would only benefit, although she still had doubts. She decided to listen to him, and after that time began to pass. Sunhwa dealt with all the monsters and her level increased to 7, and as soon as she finished, she boasted to Hujin, and he asked her to come here. She ran up to him, and since all the monsters on the floor were destroyed, the conditions were met, and the goblin soldier appeared along with his minions, while the boss monster area was being created. MC hid behind a corner with the girl and told her to duck, then looked at the monster and nervously thought that it was bigger in real life. Suddenly the goblin screamed. He swung his arm and then threw the spear towards them with a loud roar and hooped him. Holding Sunhwa close to him, thought that the most effective way to defeat the goblin was to avoid the most dangerous skill, the spear throw. At that very moment, the spear flew into the ATM they were hiding behind, with a loud sound, and MC nervously looked at the tip-off, the spear sticking out, and then stood up and told Sunhwa that they need to go, it's time to get started. She joined his group, and they came out of their hiding place, after which Hyujin told Senna to watch closely as a weak level 8 player defeats the mini-boss. His opponent prepared for battle, and MC looked at him nervously, thinking that this is what he expected from the mini-boss. He is much more scared than the others. When he performed his deadly spear throw, he should immediately rush at the survivors. And so it happened. The goblin headed towards him, and Hyujin remembered that he had two options for attack, a simple thrust or a swing. The goblin used the second option, and quickly reacted, jumped to the side, and dodged the attack, and then swung his sword, but it was just a light cut. But he expected that it would not do much damage. When the monster pounced on him again, he realized that this time it wanted to stab him with a spear and block the attack, noting that it was very fast, but he can predict its movements. That the man was moving strangely, the goblin became nervous, and the MC swung his sword, thinking that he would use all his strength and kill him. Meanwhile, Sunhwa took advantage of the provocation, and all the small monsters pounced on her. The fox bit her neck, but she didn't react at all, and thought that she needed to stick to the plan. The Thubchin had talked about the goblins, started beating her butt. She stood firm, thinking that she didn't want him to leave her. Meanwhile, the admin was watching them, and she received a notification that her channel was filled with a lot of anonymous guardians. She was surprised that she had so many viewers, and one of them asked, "Is Hirali level 8? Is such a player trying to defeat the mini-boss of the tutorial?" She confirmed it, and said that she herself found it hard to believe. One of the guardians said that his movements didn't look like a level 8 person, maybe he's hiding it somehow. She also noticed that his movements were different, but with success, he would not be able to win. Weak attacks will not kill the boss, but will exhaust him. The wounded goblin growled in displeasure, looking at Hyujin, and he prepared for another lunge. Noticing that the monster was swinging, he gave the girl a signal to kill them all, and she immediately got down to business with a blow of her fist. She finished a phone goblin, and then dealt with the foxes. For each kill she received experience, and the administrator, watching them, thought that this could not be because they were in a team. MC's level increased to 9th, and he fully recovered, taking advantage of this. He struck the monster, and the system reported that the durability of the rusty iron sword was raising the level not only gives stat points, but also restores health, removing all negative status effects. Hukin can use this trick due to the low level of the zone and the rapid growth of his own levels. He told girl to keep them at a distance and be prepared, and thought that if she shared her experience with him while Thigoblin was distracted by him, he would be able to become stronger, heal wounds, and replenish stamina. Then he would have a chance to exploit the goblin's weakness, a blow to the back of the neck. His opponent was still full of strength and was already tired, and decided to check how much experience was left until the next level. There was still a little lift at this time. Sunhwa was just dealing with monsters, and he was gaining experience. Suddenly the goblin pounced on him, and he, realizing how exactly he wanted to attack, realized that he would have to take the blow, and gritting his teeth, endured a heavy blow to the shoulder. Finally the experience bar filled up, and his level rose to from which his strength was fully restored. Having taken a stable position, he took out his sword, then rushed towards Thigoblin and struck closer to the neck. The system reported that the durability of the rusty iron sword was decreasing. Buth did not pay attention to it, and finding himself behind the enemy, aimed at the neck. With a loud cry, he stabbed the sword into it, and at that moment, it broke with a heavy sigh. The goblin fell to the floor, and the system MC on defeating the boss. He is the first to defeat the mini-boss. He received experience, but the level limit for the training area, as he caught his breath, and Sunwell worriedly rushed to him. The system reported that the recommended number of players for the mini-boss raid is 5. This system evaluates his victory as a solo theth. Level limit of the training area is removed. Leveling up is possible again. Suna rushed into his arms, and he realized that he mechanically hugged her back, but she also tried hard. The system reported that he fulfilled one of the conditions of the hidden figure, and he thought, is there really a hidden boss here? But he doesn't know what the conditions are for opening it. It's just an extra hassle. Meanwhile, In the Guangwaman area, the foxes surrounded the survivor, but he wasn't afraid of them and quickly dealt with them, gaining experience the people following him were amazed by his strength, and he awkwardly laughed, saying that again he killed them. On the first try, the girl laughed and told him not to be modest. It was obvious that he saw Yuan was the strongest in the training area. He awkwardly scratched the back of his head and told her that he didn't think he was that strong, after which his gaze fell on the boy and girl who were finishing off the monster and thought, "Who is that over there? Are they also survivors?" He immediately waved his hand at them and called out to them, drawing their attention to himself, and Hujin recognized him. One thought just wouldn't leave his head. Does he really have no talent? But considering that he defeated the mini-boss, that's impossible, of course. He knows some of the events of the future, but even that wasn't a guarantee that the dungeon would be easy. While he was looking at the monster's corpse with this thought, the system reported that an unknown observer was amazed by his concentration, and he did not pay attention to it, thinking that now he did not really understand what his limits were. He also received attention from this guardian, a woman with scales. This is a guardian whose character is close to absolute good and like the Lion King. She puts the safety and well-being of the players first, generously sponsoring them. She always provides reasonable support and compensation. A guardian who has earned the love of many players. But why did she show interest in him? Maybe traveling with Manhua. It looks like he is saving an abandoned child. After that, the minister used her power and gave Hutchin a reward for defeating the mini-boss. In his hand, an iron sword of normal quality with normal durability and normal strength appeared. The attack power ranges from to Manhwa wondered where they would go next, and he told her that they would go to Chang'e and try to kill as many city wolves as they could there. The normal wolves in that area were level 7, and the alpha wolf was level they would be able to handle them. Manhwa wondered how he knew so much, and he told her that he had heard it from someone before meeting her. At him suspiciously, and he and Manhwa set off thinking that he had originally planned to stay in the safe zone until Fist King Yuan attacked the second floor of the tower. Clearing this dungeon would affect the entire training area, and they had only cleared the first floor, but thanks to this, all the survivors would be able to hold out until the end of the training as long as they stayed in the safe zones. However, his new goal goes beyond simple survival. He definitely has talent, so raising money for his family doesn't seem so incomprehensible to him anymore. He came to the portal leading outside, and he thought that, whether it was the talent from the training and skills he had acquired, or the one he had always had, he would use every opportunity. After that, they came out of the dungeon and started killing wolves, and soon met Yuan. He walked up to them and asked excitedly if they were able to survive. MC looked at him in surprise and thought that they had just met, and although it was their first time meeting in person, he recognized him right away. This was the King of Fists, Yuan, who would later be in the top 8 famous players in Kuropan. Hearing that they were able to survive, Yuan said with a smile that it must have been hard for them, and Hujin looked at the crowd behind him and thought, if he had really managed to save so many people, there was a reason was given the title of trained. Suddenly, Yui invited them to join them and extended his hand to him, saying that they would have a better chance as a group. What does he think about it? The MC looked at his hand and then at him and declined his offer, saying that they only needed to last 4 days so the two of them could handle it. The guy awkwardly scratched the back of his head and wished them luck, and the survivors behind him started whispering and thought that Hujin was arrogant because it didn't see Yu Heian's strength. It would be a lot easier for them with them before they parted ways. The MC decided to give Yuan some advice. If he met a monster that seemed too strong, he should aim for the left eye. Yu Heian didn't quite understand what he was talking about, but he decided not to ask him and thanked him for the advice, after which Hukjin and Manhwa continued on their way. They finally reached Changchun, and the girl asked if those people would be able to handle it. He told her that they probably would. That guy seemed strong. She calmed down a bit, and he said that they should take better care of themselves. Looking around, he thought that even though he said that they would run into trouble, according to the memoirs of the Fist King Yuan and about survivors, would enter the dungeon of Tower D. They would clear the first floor, try to take the second, but an unexpected enemy would appear and kill most of the group. By the end of the battle, only Yuyan would be left alive. He would receive the title of trained because he would be the first person to clear the tower's dungeon. But in his memoirs, attempting to clear the second floor, waste biggest mistake of his life. This time things might turn out differently, but he couldn't join them because it was too dangerous. Suddenly Manhwa distracted him from his thoughts by warning him that there were monsters ahead. Noticing 3 wolves, he noted that she had excellent eyesight and suggested that she deal with them. After which the monsters noticed them sooner, rushed forward, and used a provocation skill, then swung her bat and hit one of the wolves, while MC attacked his part of the monsters. His goal is not to clear the training dungeon, but to remove the level limit. So he needs to take advantage of the moment and raise his level above the wolves, roared loudly, and he swung his bat, ran forward, and dealt with several opponents at once. Manhwa meanwhile finished with her part of the monsters, and caught her breath thinking that against the wolves, a bat is much better than her fists. It's good that she listened to Hookjin and took this. She turned around and saw a blue light. MC leveled up, and now he is the first Torich level. He thought that this was expected. It will be hard for others to even reach the system, announced Thoth was receiving a title for his achievements, Discoverer. This is an honorary title that is given to the pioneer of new territories. This title does not conflict with others, and adds % to the experience gained. He was very surprised. The bonuses are just crazy. Buth had never heard of such a title. Who knew that you can get not only completed training well, it makes sense. Last Timino 1 removed the level cap. They did not fulfill the conditions, so they could not even know about it. Manhwa Notice said that he was too lost in thought, and asked, "Is everything okay?" He suggested that she continue walking, and while they walked around the city, Xiao watched them from the air and talked to the guards. She told them that she was thinking about it too, so she will check everything.